Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books, and today it's the Friday Show. So for those of you who are unaware, the Friday Show is a weekly show that I make every Friday. I film it and upload it on the same day, which is why it's called the Friday Show in my head, but I don't actually call it that. It's my weekly wrap-up of what I've been reading, watching, and the videos I've been making, and all that sort of stuff. So, first off, before we get deep into the show, before I start making jokes and being an idiot, I would like to say that this has been a weird week for the BookTube community, especially the fantasy and science fiction BookTube community, of which I do consider myself part, I guess. I just wanted to say that I stand with survivors, I believe victims, and I believe that their voices and their stories are important. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I would say maybe save your peace and don't look into it. Maybe unsubscribe from Daniel Green's channel if you're subscribed. There's a lot going around the internet about this, and I will be brutally honest with you. I really struggled to focus on anything on like Monday and Tuesday of this week. The particular video in question that went up on Monday really threw me for a loop. Daniel wasn't a particularly favourite booktuber of mine, but I had been subscribed to them for a long time. I often would listen to fantasy news while I clean the kitchen or whatever. And I can tell you now that I will be spending a lot more time watching Bryce from Shelf Centered and his news show, which I think is really fantastic. I really struggled to focus on like the first few days of this week. New things were coming out, new things were emerging. Every time I felt like things were kind of renormalizing, like someone else would drop a video, and it's been hard to put that to the back of your mind, especially with how harrowing Naomi's original video was. So that is my very roundabout way of talking about that, and I hope my intentions are clear, despite the fact that I'm not a particularly clear or not particularly clear thinker or speaker. This week I honestly struggled to read a lot this week. When you've had those days where like this happened around the election last year in the UK, where I was just so glued to political coverage and the election stuff that I just kept picking up my phone. So I would never and whenever I tried to get into something else, I found that I really couldn't focus. It's a real weird one. I don't have ADHD or anything like that. I have no real issues with focusing normally. But this week I just really struggled with it. I also don't know whether that was combined with me switching to a new, stronger coffee, where I was feeling a bit jittery in the mornings. Anyway, basically, those are all of my excuses to tell you that I didn't read very much this week. So I have read about 40% of The Black Mantle from Andrew Watson, which is out today. So if you've got Kindle Unlimited, you can read it today for free. You do have to have read Harbinger of Justice. It's a direct sequel. I'm really enjoying this so far. I've actually read a bit further than this on the old ebook. As I said, I'm about 40% of the way. Thank you very much to Andrew for sending me the physical copy and for sending me an ebook. I asked him if he could send an ebook because I often have more ebook reading time, and I realised kind of earlier this week that I was struggling to get time to sit down with the physical copy. Although I have actually read quite a lot physically, been enjoying it. It's been a really, really fun read. I'm really enjoying the flashbacks in this one. I enjoyed the flashbacks in the previous book as well. And I'm going to be controversial here and say that I think that the flashbacks in Andrew's books I enjoy more than some of the flashback stuff that Sanderson does in the Stormlight Archive. For example, I think Kaladin's flashbacks are like 70% too much. Like, you could cut down to the bare essentials, which is what Sanderson does in the following books. You could cut down to the bare essentials of those flashbacks and miss nothing. Whereas I feel like Andrews is really good because he's really building out the world of Rye's youth and his relationship with the Empress. And he's building out that sort of character and that world. And it's really interesting to do something, to see what he's doing here with Rye's relationship with the Empress, because you get to see, there's some really good chapters where you get to see like Rye's relationship currently with the Empress, and then his relationship kind of burgeoning with the Empress at like the same time, back to back. Those chapters I really liked. I'm less. I was less engaged with Naya's chapters early on, and then there was like a big cool inciting incident for Naya that I really liked, and now I'm fully on board with both characters, enjoying this just as much as Harbinger of Justice, maybe even more, and yeah, really looking forward to finishing this one. I also have read about half of Calamity by Brandon Sanderson. So instead of reading a whole book a week, which is what I would normally do, because the Black Mantle doesn't have audio, I've read half of an audiobook and half of a real book. So that kind of probably tells me specifically, not you, tells me that I do rely on audio quite a lot. I listen to, so for example, I go into the office once a week and it's like a 45-minute drive, and I get like an hour and a half of listening done there, which is like an hour or so of reading actual book. Something like Wheel of Time, I don't read as fast as I don't read as slow as the narration, but the speed that I listen to the books on, which is 1.3 something, is around the speed that I read for the books, so not far off. Anyway, that's a weird tangent. But yeah, so I'm really enjoying the Black Mantle, and I feel like Andrew, across the beginning of this book, has been dropping some hints of like the big bad, which was one of the things that I wanted a bit more of in the first book. I wanted like a bit more of a direction in terms of like, here's the super evil dude that we're going to be going after, you know? I just like that in book ones. But I will say, but Harbinger of Justice was a really nice complete story that had hooks for a sequel. So yeah, if you're looking out for something that you're like, oh, I just want to read something kind of fun, and it's got a really cool desert fantasy setting, which you don't get much of. So yeah, I really liked book one, and I'm really liking book two. I do feel like book two is better, maybe? I need to read more of it to be able to fully say whether it is better or not. So Calamity also, I haven't actually talked about Calamity. Calamity feels kind of similar to Firefight in that it feels like it could do with a bit more focus. I've enjoyed the sections about with Nighthawk and the Nighthawk stuff. I thought that was really good. And just kind of waiting for a bit more, because it's funny because there is like a specific thing that they're trying to do in this book, but it doesn't feel like it. Because we're dropped right into the action, and I feel like maybe an establishing chapter or two would have actually been better for Calamity. So far, Steelheart is by far the best book of all three, and the short story Mitosis. Yeah, so Steelheart is by far the best book of the three at the not halfway point. I'm not actually sure where I am in Calamity. I've listened to a few hours, but maybe not halfway actually. Maybe I actually have not got that far at all. I don't know. My audiobook is on the phone that I'm recording this on, so anyway, yeah, so Calamity is good. Not Harbinger of Justice. The Black Mantle is better. I'm having a really good reading time at the moment when I am. So towards the end of the week, I was able to kind of like, I took 2 days without any caffeine, and like my brain feels like it's equalized a bit. Yeah. So yeah, my brain feels like it's equalised a bit, and I was able to read all night the last couple of nights. Although yesterday I didn't read all night because I played an hour and a half of Avowed, the new fantasy RPG from Obsidian. I should play some more over the weekend. Maybe I'll chat about it next Friday. But good game so far. I got really obsessed with Starfield from Bethesda in like 2023, and I feel like Avowed is going to do the same thing where I get like massively obsessed. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how that affects my reading time. I was not expecting a game to come out at the beginning of this year that would completely wipe out my reading, like completely knock out reading, which has happened a few times recently. Across 2024, there was a few times where games came out and I was like, wow, I am loving this game. But yeah, so a combination of me wanting to play some more Avowed and the fact that I have not finished either of the books that I'm reading means that there's not going to be a review on Monday. So one of my goals with the new schedule was that there'd be a review every single Monday. The review for either Harbinger of Justice or Calamity, whichever one I finish first, will be out on Wednesday now. And on Monday, you guys can watch the Crossroads of Twilight spoiler cast. So that's also another reason why I haven't read this week, because I spent a whole evening doing the spoiler cast with Matt. So essentially, a ton of things all came together and meant that my brain was not really in a reading mood. And also that I didn't have time to read or I had to focus on other things. I didn't have to focus on Avowed at all. I wanted to, but it is fantastic. So I kind of, it was a good diversion to make. Also, videos wise next week, yeah. So it'll be Crossroads of Twilight spoiler cast on Monday, then book review on Wednesday. Then on Friday will be the Friday show again. Andre and I have recorded the next Stormlight Archive Wind and Truth spoiler chat as well, but that will be going up in a couple of weeks. So not Wednesday coming, Wednesday after. One other thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of videos is I'm going to see Captain America Brave New World today. Like, I'm leaving as soon as I finish recording this. Would anyone be interested in a review video of that? I'm a huge Marvel fan. I'm a huge Legacy Hero fan. So if you're not a comic fan, Legacy Heroes is basically where somebody gives up their superhero identity and passes it on to someone else. This happened with Batman and Nightwing. So Nightwing took over as Batman for a while when Batman was thought to be dead. Sir John Kent, Superman's son, has been Superman for a while. Superman's back now, but they're both kind of Superman, I guess. And then, yeah, so loads of people have kind of... The mantle passing is kind of a big thing in comic books. And this is really the first time we've seen it happen on screen. So I'm just trying to think that there have been any... Well, Black Panther, I guess. The second Black Panther movie, there was a mantle passing, but I feel like that one felt a little bit forced, obviously, by Chadwick Boseman's death. Yeah, this feels like the first real mantle pass in superhero films. And obviously we've had, different actors play Batman, for example, and like the end of The Dark Knight Rises has happened, and that was excellent. But what we've got now is like a proper, completely new character taking on the mantle of Captain America, Sam Wilson. It doesn't hurt that he's got a cool first name. I also think the wings are cool. Lots of things about Sam Wilson are great. I watched The Winter Soldier yesterday. Was it yesterday? Sometime this week when I could not focus on reading a book, I watched The Winter Soldier. And that very much is like Sam Wilson's introduction film, and like all of his scenes are really good in that movie. Like Anthony Mackie nailed that like role in that movie. I've never been a huge Falcon fan in the comics. He's one of those characters that never really popped up in my reading. Although I did read the Sam Wilson Captain America series, and I thought that was really good. Which is kind of what's also got me a bit hyped for this. So yeah, if anyone would be interested in a review from me, let me know. I'll probably just do it, whether I want to do it, whether people ask for it or not, just whether I feel like it's something that I want to talk about. But maybe I will not notify my subscribers and ruin my subscriber watch stats, whatever they're called. I have something to show you guys as well today. So I received a bit of a care package from my buddy Joe. So this arrived last week, and it literally arrived just after I filmed this video last week. So I filmed the Friday show, turned the camera off, unhooked everything from the tripod and all this jazz, and then literally the doorbell rang with this package from Joe. So I've got 3 books to show you guys, and I'm pretty excited to show them off. So first off, we have Wistful Ascending. So this is the first book in the Hybrid Helix. This is the brand new covers. So we've got these lovely like naked hardbacks as the editions that I've got. They've got the same Chris McGrath cover art. So he's the cover artist for the Dresden Files and for the what's the name of the series? The series that Soul Fraud is the first book. I'll remember it halfway through this video and it will annoy me. So yeah, this is the first book in that series. It is these editions are really nice. They're lovely to read, like big, lovely fonts. Big fan of these new editions. I will eventually do a reread, I think, of these, maybe when we're a bit further into the Black Gold arc. But yeah, really enjoying having these copies. This is actually my second copy of Return of the Griffin because I was gifted one for Christmas last year. But this is the new title treatment, the new cover. This is also the revised edition. So Joe has revised Return of the Griffin, and apparently quite significantly. So I'm almost tempted to read this bad boy again. I'm not gonna lie, but I will leave that for now. I don't know when I would have a chance to read these all again. Maybe I'll try and do a buddy read with somebody who's never read them before, and then we can do like a spoiler chat. Charlie, you're watching this, and you have read Wistful Ascending, but you haven't read Return of the Griffin. So, hit me up. Blood Reunion is the final book that I got sent by Joe. This is maybe the best book in the first 3. I don't know. I really liked Return of the Griffin as well. I think both of these are fantastic. These are fantastic in different ways. So this one gives you the kind of superhero world on Earth, and this gives you more of the sci-fi stuff. Joe's interpretation of vampires was really cool, and I really liked it. So yeah, really glad to have these lovely editions. Maybe someday I'll do a giveaway for the Return of the Griffin. I should really get on my spare copy of that. I should really get on and do more stuff like that. But c'est la vie. So, fantastic books. I genuinely would really recommend these editions, and look how good they are going to look on my shelf. So I'll have to pick up the rest of them, obviously. But look how nice that is going to look on my shelf. Like, that is a lovely set of spines. He's doing the 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. Perfect. Now, Joe, this is really important feedback. You can now never change the size of these fonts or the design of this edge, because if you do, I'm going to have to re-buy them all again. I mean, I didn't buy these, you sent them to me, but I'm going to have to buy them all again. So I would really rather that we kept consistent. These are going to go right next to my Broken Binding Malazan editions that I haven't actually shown off on the channel, I don't think, but I've packed them all away now. So eventually this year, I'm going to get some shelves put up in the office. And when I have those shelves put up, I'll do a bookshelf tour and I'll show you guys all my nice special edition books. Because that's pretty much all I collect, is like nice editions, which is why I like having these as well. So yeah, long story short, thank you very much, Joe, for sending those over. And if you want to get your own copies, they're on Amazon. They're really easy to buy. And all the hardcovers, I can vouch for the quality of how nice they are. That's everything, I think, for this week. I need to get a move on and drive to the cinema. So I hope that you guys have had a better week than I have. And let me know what you guys are reading, what you guys are watching, what you guys are playing. I'd love to chat about The Black Mantle if anyone has started reading it too. Will say don't go past, like, don't spoil it for people who haven't read it. But do please, if you're reading The Black Mantle, let me know. I forgot to mention earlier that the next book on the horizon is New Spring. Matt's already started reading it, so I kind of got to catch up. After New Spring, I'll be reading Mushroom Blues. And so we'll probably have the exact same problem that we're having now, where I can't read a single book in a week because I'm reading 2 books. But is my Goodreads total going to be upset with me because I haven't read a book this week? Maybe. Maybe I'll still have read a book still finish one of these 2 by Monday, and I can do a full review. We'll see. But I don't think it's likely. I've got 3 evenings, which I guess I could read a book in 3 evenings, half a book in 3 evenings. We'll find out. I hope you guys have a lovely weekend, and I will speak to you on Monday with probably the Crossroads of Twilight spoiler cast. Have a good one. Goodbye.